What's up, fam? Thank y'all once again for tuning in. And as always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. I want to make hopefully a quick video about a story I saw on the Associated Press, and it reads, "Reparations are for descendants of black slaves," Weber says. And I'll read the title. I'm excited. I was like taken aback, aghast, if you will, because this is something that, shout out to Tone Talks or Antonio Moore, and shout out to Tariq Nasheed. These two guys I know in our community talk about reparations on a weekly basis with their YouTube channels, with their Twitter channels, Twitter pages, and other forms of like social media. Oh, and this here was kind of, you know what I'm saying, kind of feel good reading this title. But while I'm reading it, I have a couple of questions, but maybe y'all can help me understand it a little better. What she's saying. Like I said, this comes from Associated Press, and again, I'll reread the title. Reparations are for descendants of black slaves, Weber says. It says, California Secretary of State said Thursday that reparations for African Americans should be limited to people whose forebears were kidnapped from their homeland, stripped of their ancestry, and left with nothing after generations of forced slavery. Now, I like that. It sounds good. But the only question and the only concern I have is that it said for forebears who were kidnapped from their homeland. Now, do she mean Africa, like actually kidnapped from a land and taken to another land, like kidnapped from Africa and brought to the Americas? Or is she talking about people who include people who were kidnapped off of land, off of the American land, and taken to another part of America to become slaves? That's the only question I have about it. Because, as we all know, there was a lot of Aboriginal Black Americans here before the slave trade. And we all know that the majority of the slaves that were taken from Africa, however much you believe of it or not, we know a very small percentage of them were brought to North America. The majority of them were brought down to Central and South America. Not from a lack of trying, but just because of the currents. And that's just where the currents and the waters took the ships. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of us already here. So we weren't kidnapped from the land. We was kidnapped, enslaved in our own land. But that's another story. But like I said, that's the only issue I have with that. Shirley Weber, the daughter and granddaughter of sharecroppers who authored legislation creating the first in the nation task force to study reparations, said while black immigrants have suffered from racism in the U.S., they always had a country to return to. Now she's talking about those that come from the Caribbean and those that come from Africa. That immigrants, that they can always go back to their home country, which a lot of them do. Working in hospitals and stuff, you see these doctors and nurses that's come from Africa or what have you. They come over here and make their money, send it back home, so they can buy houses. That once you buy houses, it belongs to you. Unlike in this country that you can buy a house, you can pay it off. It doesn't really belong to you because you still gotta pay taxes on it. And at any given time, they can holler out eminent domain because they're gonna feel that it's better for the country, or better for better for the city, better for the country, whatever, to create roads, railroads, whatever the case may be, certain infrastructures, and can kick you up off your land any time. But that's a whole nother story. Slavery was more than a physical condition, she said, and its psychological impact stunted people's ability to strive beyond survival. Quote, "The fear my grandfather felt, I remember as a child, was palpable, and it crippled him and his family's ability to dream beyond the cotton fields." Weber said at Thursday's meeting of the task force to study and develop reparations for African Americans. The meeting continues Friday, which was today. She said, now, you know they got this bill called, H.R.O.W.T.H. Was this study of reparations called like a 30-year bill. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, she said, I'll get to that in a minute. She said that Barack Obama likely never would have dreamed of becoming the president if he had descended from enslaved people. Which is true, because you got a lot of people that come from Africa that'll sit there and ask us why do a lot of our people complain about the government and how it treat us and why we ain't got nothing. They can come over here and have nothing and start businesses. Well, it's like, y'all got visas. I know a lot of y'all can't. They brought y'all over here. Y'all, I know how the system goes. I've been told by nurses from foreign countries that they don't have to pay taxes for 5 years. When they come over here, they give a lot of them. They get, especially if you already like in nursing or what have you. They give you money to come over here. Like I said, you ain't paying taxes, and then they paying. So the money you making, you can save that money. You can. That's why they all got like down here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Let's say like Allen, Texas, Plano, McKinney. You got neighborhoods where you have what they call Arabian, Indian immigrants that got neighborhoods. And houses are big. We're talking Texas. So when you're talking like a few years ago, I saw like $250,000 houses. You talk about 2-story houses sitting on half an acre with like 4 or 5 bedrooms and 3 or 4 bathrooms. You feel what I'm saying? And they're living in this. And some of them are doctors, some of them are engineers. But again, they get that education over there, come over here, like I say, pay nothing in taxes, get money, and then wonder why a lot of us are suffering, are struggling. We don't get that. We can't get houses, we can't get loans, unless we want to get we get a student loan that we'll pay back for the rest of our life. But we can't get loans or you can get a car loan for 9 years at 24% interest and keep us in debt. But we can't get loans for businesses. We come in with a rock solid business plan. Can't get a business loan. We can have a job for years, making good money, and go through so much to get a home loan. Red tape to where we can't even move to certain neighborhoods. Values, house evaluated for $100,000 less than what the white family across the street house would be worth. You see the stories where a lady said her house was appraised at a certain price and she knew that wasn't right, so she had like a friend of hers, which was like a white family, come in and put white pictures up, and they was in the house, and the house appraised for more than what it was worth, $100,000 more than what she was quoted. She sued him, got him in court, but you understand what I'm saying. But they feel like a lot of us cry, and a lot of us do. I know a lot of us could do better. But it's a long, hard battle. You just don't understand. You got to be ingrained in you to want to do better and to get out there and try to make something of yourself and do better for your next few generations. Let's see. I'll go back. Obama, the country's first black president, had a white mother and a black father from Kenya who came to the U.S. to study. Exactly. Obama, she said, did not have limitations and fears drilled in his psyche, and thus aspire to become the president of the United States, which I believe for the most part is true. The 9-member task force will start a meeting in July. Like I said, H.R.40 or whatever, or H.R.30, something like that. It's on a 2-year timeline to address, but it's like a 30-year bill. Like I said, I read it later. To address the harms of slavery, especially given in action at the federal levels. Critics have said that California did not have slaves as in other states, and that it shouldn't have to address the issue or pay for it. But you're benefiting from it. You're benefiting from slavery, cheap labor off the backs of Aboriginal Black Americans. You may not directly have slaves, but you benefit from it. Hey, you benefit from it now with the prison system. So, like I said, it's another story again, so let's not really play semantics. Let's not split hairs, as they say. But expert testimony being heard by the task force overwhelmingly points to large racial disparities in wealth, health and education in California. That's all over America. African Americans make up just 60% of California's population, yet were 30% of an estimated 250,000 people experiencing homelessness who sought help in 2020. Their communities have been raised in the name of redevelopment, and Black people remain overrepresented in jails. That is true. Yeah, I can say over the country, we represent what supposedly 12% of the population, but yet we're like down there 50% of the prison population. It ain't that we commit more crimes, it's just that they just harass us more. In September, Governor Gavin Newsom signed legislation turning prime beachfront property to the descendants of a Black couple who had the land taken away by eminent domain. And yes, I did a story on that. Look that up. Weber's great-grandfather was born into slavery, and her family fled Arkansas. Shout out to Arkansas, where my family from my mom's side, in the summer of 1951. Running from the Ku Klux Klan, in the dead of night, she said. She said she would not have written the legislation if she had known the pool of recipients would be expanded, leaving mere pennies for the descendants of slaves. What she thought is, I don't know what the number she thought it would be, but plenty of people already said, man, it would be trillions that the American government owes the descendants of slaves, and they can pay it out. They pay money for everybody else, but when it comes to us, they ain't thinking about it. We already know they give, the Asian anti-Asian hate crime bill or something they made, and then threw out like I think it was $50 million, something like that to them. After like a couple of Asian people got slapped in New York City. But when you read the government, FBI files on their website, Aboriginal Black Americans by far have the most hate crimes committed against them than any other group, pretty much most groups put together. But we ain't got no bill. We don't get no bill. We don't get no money. We don't get no millions of dollars for a law. We don't get, the least you could do is offer descendants of slaves free education, but with the school of their choice. That's the least you can do. The least you can do is kill that red tape and allow, give us some form of, what you want to say, discount, no taxes, cancel some of the fees, help us, give us, some paid closing costs to allow us to get homes. That's the least you can do. Not just Section 8, where we're being like crime-riddled neighborhoods. No, we're talking about neighborhoods where you can be low income, but everybody is trying to make something of themselves in that neighborhood like it used to be amongst our people. You may have a few bad apples, a few crimes, but people watched over the neighborhood, protected the neighborhood for the most part, trying to do better for themselves and their kids and their family. You can do these things, but they refuse to do it. They won't do it. And then they wonder why we act the way we do, why we feel the way we feel. Especially by stories like this one. This was written last year, but it says, it's from the Washington Post, it says slavery reparations seems impossible. In many places, they're already happening. See, stuff like this is what pisses a lot of people off. And let's say, I'm gonna read this whole article. Let me just hit this first paragraph. Slavery reparations may be the single most divisive idea in American politics, which is true. Advocates have spent decades calling the U.S. government to assess how such a policy should be implemented and to enact a law that might offer financial restitution to the descendants of enslaved people. But minds are made up. According to a recent Associated Press poll, 74% of African Americans now favor reparations payments, while 85% of whites oppose them. And Congress seems unlikely to take up the matter. A 30-year-old bill that would study the issue, H.R. 40, has never reached a vote. Hearings this past June brought Ta-Nehisi Coates, Danny Glover, and other leading proponents to Capitol Hill and every Democratic presidential candidate back, at least studying the idea. The public remains unmoved. You see, like I said, H.R. 40 like I say, a 30-year-old bill, say we spent decades calling U.S. government to assist. The problem, let's say like this. Let's say like this. Scenario, picture if you will. You have a credit card, right? Someone give you a credit card, say here you go, here goes some money. Here goes $1,000. Use it however you want, buy what you want to. At the end of the month, you gotta pay that $1,000. If you don't pay the $1,000, you owe interest. So whatever part you don't pay. No matter what, every month, whatever money is left over, you pay interest on that money. Now let's say you mess around and just don't pay it all together. So interest piles up, fees pile up over months, over years. So many years pass. It goes to the credit bureau. They may sell your bill to another creditor. Creditor will rash you. You can offer you a discount. Mind you, this creditor don't pay pennies on a dollar for your account, but they're gonna get that whole money back. If not at least half, if not even 50%, not even 75%, but they probably pay not even 10, 20%. Let's just be honest, right? Get to the point where they may take you to court. Court say you owe this money, and they garnish your wages. They're gonna garnish all the money out your account until these people get their money. No matter what other bills or whatever you got going, you finna pay this money out, right? Point is, you made a promise, you owe money, you pay that money. It's like people talking about these student loans that they want Biden to wipe out these student loans, and they say he did like what, a few $1 billion or what have you. But they said it's amazing because they said it's not even 0.1% of what's owed in student loan debt in this country, which is an issue in itself that really need to be addressed a lot more than it is. But again, you made a promise about this money, to pay this money you owe, right? No matter how much time go by, interest, fees, student loan, IRS, credit cards, whatever the case. You made a promise, you're gonna pay this money, you owe. Hell, it could be the point that if you die, your kids owe. That's how the government, that's how the system works. But flip that over to reparations. After slavery, around about the Civil War, reparations were promised to former slaves. Matter of fact, some of them did get reparations at the time, but the majority of them didn't get it. I mean, this was written by the government in the bill. But for some reason, time went on and the government ain't paid them reparations. They found ways not to pay them. They changed the bill. You know what I'm saying? Reneged on it, as you will. So now you got 150 years later, after slavery is abolished, you got people hollering they want their money, but now you're saying, oh, we can't pay them. You know, it's how do we know who we gonna pay? Oh, you can find out because you got the census. You can find out. You can find out anything you want to. Here, you the government. You got records on everybody. Don't play. Don't give me that BS. It's like, how do we know who to pay? How do you know you're a slave? You know, we might, some people are black, some people are mixed. Got, different blood. Well, hell, the slaves back then had different blood. A lot of them got, a lot of the women and the girls, let's just say, were forced to have babies by slave masters. So, the problem is, America, is that you owe. Regardless of that, and as time continues to go on, you continue to. That's why you can go and see Tariq Nasheed, and you can go and watch videos of Antonio Moore, and they'll tell you, it's in the trillions, man. It ain't in the hundreds of millions, it ain't in the billions. You owe trillions. So your best bet, I know you owe these other countries money, but your best bet is to start paying out these Aboriginal Black Americans who are descendants of slaves. Because a lot of us are getting smarter now. We're educating ourselves. about this money, about this government, about voting. That's why you had a lot of people saying they ain't voting for you, your Democrats no more, because y'all ain't doing nothing to advance it. Talking about getting this voter rights bill, but that ain't for us, because we can vote. Most of us can vote. And then you say it's racist because they want an ID. That's retarded, because everything else we gotta have an ID for. So why is voting come down to ID? What voting really should come down to is education. That's what it should come down to. Only people who should be allowed to vote, in my opinion, are people who are educated on the facts, educated on the candidates, and what the candidates stand for, and what their past votes and beliefs and stuff have been, and what they're promising, and tangibles. Number one is tangibles. If you can give us tangibles as a people, shoot, we got, you know what I'm saying, then we can, you know what I'm saying, then we'll vote for you. If you're not doing nothing for our people, then we're not voting for you. And if nobody's doing nothing for nobody, then nobody get a vote. That's period, point blank. It ain't this, our ancestors died for us to vote. No, our ancestors died for us to have the same rights as everybody else. Rights, not have-tos. The same rights, ability to say, if I want to vote, I will. If I don't, I won't. If I want to drink in this water fountain, I will. If I don't, I won't. If I want to go in this store, I will. If I don't, I won't. It's simple as that. That's the bottom line. But I think a lot of stuff got misconstrued. But anyway, like I said with this story, woman is right. Now, do I think we're gonna get reparations? I wouldn't really hold my breath on it. You know what I'm saying? We hope for it, we'll keep asking for it, we'll keep fighting for it. But in the meantime, you fight for yourself individually. Again, like I say, educate yourself on financial literacy. Educate yourself on investing. Understand about investments and how taxes play a part, and how you, when you invest, you know what you're doing in investing. You paying little to no taxes like the rich people do. Don't worry, they'll try to change the rules by the time you get it. But again, if you educate yourself and stay in the loop on the politics and the money, you won't be left behind. It's simple as that. But like I say, you invest and you learn about it. You educate yourself every day when it comes to money and investing. Getting home, understand how land ownership is a cornerstone of wealth. There's a lot of land in this country. And a lot of it, I ain't gonna say a lot of it's cheap, but it's a lot of it available out here. There's land in other countries if you want to get up out of this country. I mean, shoot, you can look into that. But we can't. Oh yeah, and like I say, life insurance policies, 401ks, investing in stocks, mutual funds, all that good stuff. But you can't stay the status quo. Something has got to change. You've got to grow. Period. Got to grow, get better, get more educated, so we can give our kids and our grandkids a chance to make something of themselves and pass on their generation wealth. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. I held y'all long enough. Leave your comments in the comment box below. Tell me what you think. Think she's right, think she owns something, think we'll ever get reparations, let me know. But as always, like I say, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Hey, you want to support the channel? Go down to the description box, hit that link, buy you some merchandise. It's like, like a trade system. I bring content, you can buy merchandise. So it's like, instead of just, donating or, just giving out. If you want to donate, give, that's fine. You can do that too. But like I say, for some of us, we like to get a little something, a little something tangible. So I offer something tangible. If you want to start a YouTube channel, hit that too, buddy link. Get started. It's a great way to, like I said, to get started, to give you great content, great ideas, so that way you can get the subscribers up, get the views up, get the likes up. The subscribers is what eventually get you monetized, and then it's to the moon on that one. With that being said, I leave you the same way I came, and that is